Hi, my name is Jim Balla. Today's video, we're going to troubleshoot our SHPE series spreaders. They range anything from, a 0.4 yards all the way up to, 2 yards. A few tools we're going to need are going to be a voltmeter, a test light, a couple jumpers, a jump box so we can test power. Again, we're going to start from the engine compartment, and we're going to work our way all the way back to the back of the spreader where the vibrator is, where the spinner is, and then also the auger. But before we go any further, smash that like button, subscribe. If you feel really good about this video, make a comment. Make sure it's good though. And then also become part of that Snow Dog family. Now, let's get to it. So now we're here at the front of the truck with the hood open. We're going to check some wiring. A couple things you want to always remember is, some trucks do have 2 batteries. You always want to go to the primary battery, the one that gets charged first. I think it's stated in the instructions, but you always want to go to primary battery. Most diesel engines do have 2 batteries. This is a gas engine, so this one has 1. So the one thing we're doing is, where is the circuit breaker? All right, so some simple things. Hey, if my controller is not lighting up, why? And usually it's the power going into the controller that might be faulty. So the first thing I want to do is check corrosion on your negative and positive terminals on the battery. Make sure the wires are tight, basic stuff. But again, if you got a battery replaced recently, a lot of times that company will not put wires back on the battery that are not original manufacturers. So we always check that. Also, if the controller is not lighting up, you want to look at the circuit breaker. So if the circuit breaker is tripped, that means you're not getting any power to the controller. So a couple quick things, visual things you can look at that's going to help out troubleshooting, down the road here. All right, so here's the circuit breaker. Now what you want to do, again, check the wires, make sure they're tight on there, and then also, as of right now, this circuit breaker is actually tripped. You can see the lever that's tripped. So what I want to do is just press that in, and now the power is going to go to the controller. So if you want to trip it, you press the red button, it stops power going to controller. And again, once it's closed, now power is going to the controller, and the controller should light up. So now let's go look at the controller. All right, so here's our controller for the SHPEs. It's part number 3014199, which is nice. There's a lot of information on the controller itself. So it says here, F in the auger window, it tells you, what you want to do. It says replace auger fuse, inside box. If the F's in the spinner window, it says replace spinner fuse, inside the box, and it tells you, remove the 4 screws. They're on the bottom here. And then I guess inside there's a fuse, but also you have, I unhooked a wire here just to make it a little easier to look at. We also have some fuses on the outside, on the brown wire and on the silver wire here. So also check these fuses too. Again, another quick thing you can do. And then there you have a fuse there, make sure it's working. Again, that's on your output though. So we're talking about before your input, from the battery, circuit breaker. So I'm just going to power it up. And we know it looks like we're getting good power, to the controller. So, because it turns on. So, again, you'll have also your power button, your vibrator, and then of course your pause. So, and then your auger dial, and then your spinner dial. So, controller lights up, great. So the question is, are we getting power back to the auger? Could be the chain, but auger chain or the vibrator, and then of course the spinner motor. So let's go check back there. I'm going to hook this wire harness back up. Now we're going to go check power to those items in the back. All right, so here we are back at the spreader chute. On the spreader chute, you have your spinner motor right here. Then underneath this cover, you have your auger. Then on the other side, you have your vibrator. So this harness here is for your spinner motor. Has a yellow and blue coming from the main harness. Then also white and black it changes to for the spinner motor. Also, we have a connector on this side over there that we'll get to in a second. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check the spinner motor. We're going to check to see if power is getting back here. So you get in your truck, hey, my spinner ain't working. Hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, controller's on, but it's throwing a code or just it's not working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this apart. Like I said, there's 2 pins in here. So one of the things I'm going to do is, I told you maybe some of the tools you need. We're going to test it 2 ways. Sometimes someone might not have a test light, someone might not have a voltmeter. So what I do is I just take an alligator clip, hook it up to the 1 pin. Okay, and then we're going to do the test light first. Then I'm going to hook up to the alligator clip. Okay, so that's kind of our ground. And then I'm going to touch it on the other side with the test light. So right now we're not getting no power. But with our handy assistant, she's going to turn on the controller. Then she's going to take the spinner motor and go from 0 to 9 and then back down. And you'll see the voltage change. So we just want to see, hey, are we getting power to the spinner motor? So there it is at 0. Sorry, not 0. Put it 0, please. You can see how the power is going down to nothing, and then she'll turn it up. And you'll see the voltage changing, showing that, hey, we're giving it more power to go faster, or we're slowing it down to go slower. So, like I said, a test light works great, but the question is, how much voltage are we actually getting? So then what I do is I'll take the test light off. Get my voltmeter. And I probably don't need a jumper because these are a little bit smaller things here, connector pins. So I'm going to put them on each thing, and then I'm going to have her, can you turn it up please? So we were at 0 to start, then she's turning it up, it looks like it's going to about, well, it keeps going up. It's about 12 volts, 11.9. Then she'll turn it down. It says slowly goes down to 0. So that's how you test that. So now we know power is actually getting to the spinner motor. The next thing we'll do is pretty much the same thing, but we're going to test power going to the auger and the vibrator. So and then this is what this looks like. So you have 4 larger pins in this more of a rectangle type connector. So we're going to do the same thing. We'll start with a voltmeter, multimeter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the white and black wire, which is the vibrator. Again, use alligator clips. I'm just going to try to touch it again. So right now we have no power going to it. And then she'll hit the vibrator button. Did you hit it? Are you holding it? Yeah, you got to hold it down. What? All right, so when she hits it, it's going up to 10 volts. So then up to 12, and then when she lets go of it, it goes down to 0. So that's that. So again, now we know we're getting power there. Again, same thing with the auger, which you'll use the knob to turn up, and then she'll turn it down. So again, it goes up to 12, then is backing down now all the way to 0. And you can do the same thing with the test light in case you don't have a multimeter. I said I need this just to get in there, so put an alligator clip. We'll do the auger first. I'm going to get it right here. Like I said, I'm just using this to jump. Let's try it. All right, do the auger knob. You go up and down. There you go. So we're getting power, then all the way down to 0. So you see the light fluctuating on the voltage current. And then I'm just going to go on the vibrator, and you'll see power come on that. Now the vibrator is again white and black. So go ahead, hit the vibrator. Let go. My hand might be in the way, but you see power going on and off when she's touching the vibrator. All right, so the next thing we're going to do now is we're actually going to check each individual component and show you how to make them run. So we're getting power to here, but now let's check the individual components to make sure they're operating. All right, so we checked the power going to the spinner motor, vibrator, auger. Now we're going to check, like I said, the components by itself. So what I did is I unhooked it, and as you can see, there's 2 small areas where I'm going to try to put an alligator clip in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this alligator clip and try to get it into there just so I can get a good connection for the ground. Then I'm going to use a red one, and then we're just going to put this on the other side. Again, try to get a good connection without them touching. So what I'm going to do is take the ground, go to the jump box on that, then the red to the positive. Again, I'm going to make sure the wires are not actually in the spinner itself. And then what I do, I'm just going to turn the jump box on. As you see, everything sounds good. There's no grinding or anything. So that's just showing us that works. Now let's go to the vibrator next. Again, here's the harness that we're going to be testing. The white and black, that's for your vibrator. The green and red, and that's for the auger motor. So first thing we're going to do, like we did before, is I got the alligator clips still from the other side. So I'm going to take this one here. All right, so I got the ground on, and now I'm just going to put the power on here. So again, it's going to get really loud because the vibrator is right on the inside here on the trough. So I'm just going to turn it on for a second. As you see, it worked, and you can see the vibrator really worked because it knocked off my alligator clip. So now we know that works. So next thing we do, we're going to go into the auger, which is, again, I said, a green and red. So I'm just going to touch this and get this one in here. And then I'm going to turn it on. It should run at full speed. And what you want to do is listen for any grinding, maybe a bearing, might be going bad. So you can see it's running Again, no grinding, no like real rough noise inside, so we know that's running fine. All right, so the auger sounded good. Again, no grinding or anything like that, so we know that works. Again, these are some quick simple tests that you can run before you give us a call. So everything worked here. So we have power to back. Now, if you're not getting power to the back here, again, you got to check those fuses in the controller. And again, the controller could be bad as an electronic part. But by checking all this, it's stating it looks like the controller is good. Everything works. Again, this is a newer model, so it should work out fine. Well, there you have it. Troubleshooting our SHPE Salt Dog salt spreaders. Again, thanks for watching. But one thing I like to mention is, even if you're a homeowner or a distributor or whoever that has to troubleshoot our salt spreaders, it's always great just to have a jump box, 12-volt power source, something that you could test things, quickly. Also, a test light is great to have on hand, and also a voltmeter, just to check voltage. Are we getting the proper amount of voltage, to our components? So, there's a button that I want you to smash. It's called like, subscribe, become part of that Snow Dog family. And again, if you have any questions, give us a call, email us, check out our website at buyersproducts.com, and go buy a dog and chase a storm.